This old guy DIY video has to do with swapping a 60/40 leather seating surface in a 2003 Chevy Suburban with a couple of captain's chairs from a 2001. So it's a pretty straightforward process. Come in here with a Phillips head screwdriver, take these trim pieces off first, and then I believe it's 18mm bolts that I'll hit with the impactor. I'll remove this and then do the same thing with the bucket seats, swap them out. This is the vehicle that's giving up the captain's chairs. So looking at this, I believe I can get this driver's side off without even taking the trim piece off. So I have that bolt there. Then we have a bolt back here. And then on the inboard side in the middle, I have to remove this little cap and that little cap to get access to the mounting bolts. But we'll take those 4 bolts off and see what happens next. So this piece of trim has a little pin. I just took the plastic, pushed that way, and the pin came loose. And then, feels like it has a clip on the bottom. I'll pull the clip out, get that piece of trim off. So this is what that clip looked like. It's in place. Now I'll spin this bolt off. I uncovered the bolt in the front, and the seat will be ready to come out. This is the little piece that was covering that front inside mounting bolt. So you see it just has this thing that pushes down onto the bolt to hold it into place. But I removed those 4 nuts. You can see the bolts are there. One seat is gone. I'll go do the same thing to the other side. The seat on this passenger side seems to have a feature that slides forward. I need to get the seat to slide forward so I can get to this 4th bolt. And I don't know how to do it, so I'm going to take a screwdriver, put it in here, just pop this side up. I'll put a second screwdriver in over here, pop this side up, and I have a friend coming out who's going to just push the seat forward. So he should be able to manually push it forward so I can get that 4th bolt. So my helper was in less of a hurry than I was, so I took a screwdriver and stuck it down so that thing doesn't engage the track, and I did the same thing on the other side, and I was able to move the track forward. So now we can see that 4th bolt. Now I'll pull it out. Now I'm at the 40 side of the 60/40 bench, passenger side rear. I can access this bolt immediately, so I'll take that one. Then I have to pull this little plastic cover off. I'll take care of that. And I have to slide the seat forward, as I showed you in the last video, and remove this side. Now this little trim piece on the right side of the 60 had a little plastic pin here, and then one coming in from the back. So I pulled those off. Now I'll wiggle that trim piece free. When I remove that trim piece, here's the big mounting bolt I have to get. Remember when you reinstall it in the other vehicle to put that seat belt beneath it. Then I have to remove these 2 little bolts that look like they're probably 10s or 12mm. And then I should be able to separate the 2 seats. These 2 little nuts require a 13mm socket. Now the passenger side is loose, but I have to go over and remove the bolts holding that large 2-notcher seat. And then when it comes to installing it in the other vehicle, this 40 section that sits on the passenger side has to go in first, because you can see that metal bracket sits on top where the 60 section holds the 40 down. Now on the driver's side back seat, 3 of the bolts are easy to get to. 1, 2, and for the 3rd one I just tipped the seat forward, reach down there, you can see the stud. Now for the 4th one I just have to remove that little trim piece, and the nut will be waiting there for me. So I went to remove this thing and realized I had missed 2 additional bolts. So these little bolts here take a 13mm socket. You can see they mate the 2 pieces together. So I'll spin those bolts out right now. Now we have the seats out of both vehicles and vacuumed. It looks like this person spilled Coke in here several times over the years. But we have both vehicles cleaned up. Now it's time to swap the seats. Now I'm at the truck receiving the 60/40 seats. I set them in first to make sure everything lines up, and everything does. So now it's time to start cranking it down.